The human brain is now revealing secrets that validate ancient wisdom, but the implications are more disturbing than most anyone wants to admit. I'm Mark Roach. Welcome back to Transcendent. Today we're diving into chapters 31 through 33 of Gurdjieff's masterwork, and what we discover here mirrors shocking developments in contemporary neuroscience about split consciousness, declining human lifespan, and therapeutic potential hidden in our psychological vulnerability. The 35th teaching, the science of civilizational decline. 31 establishes Beelzebub's final and most extensive observation period on Earth, spanning over 3 centuries of intensive study. This wasn't casual observation, but systemic scientific investigation into humanity's most disturbing characteristic, our unique propensity for mutual destruction. No other 3-brain beings in the universe engage in war. This makes Earth a cosmic anomaly requiring special study. During this extended residence, Beelzebub made a discovery that modern research is now confirming in alarming detail. Human lifespan was declining at a measurable, uniform rate. In ancient times, humans lived for 12 to 15 centuries, but at the time of his departure, maximum lifespan had dropped to 70 to 90 years. This wasn't just biological decline, but progressive deterioration in human spiritual capacity. Current research validates this pattern with shocking precision. Despite medical advances that should extend life, studies show that expectancy gains are slowing dramatically. A 2024 Nature Aging paper reveals that the expectancy at birth in the world's longest living populations has increased only 6.5 years since 1990, far below scientific expectations. The University of Illinois Chicago research indicates we're approaching biologically based limit to life around 95 years, with most longevity gains already achieved through disease management rather than fundamental life extension. But here's what modern researchers are missing. Gurdjieff understood that the declining lifespan directly correlates with declining consciousness. The shorter our lives become, the less time we have for genuine spiritual development. Modern humans are born, educated, work, reproduce, and die without ever developing beyond mechanical functioning. We become biological machines with just enough conscious capacity to maintain cosmic function, but not enough to achieve authentic being development. The Harvard School of Public Health confirms that U.S. life expectancy has declined to 76.4 years, the shortest in nearly 2 decades. This isn't just about COVID or drug overdoses. It reflects what researchers call the inadequacy of our healthcare system, which treats sickness but ignores the upstream factors that create genuine health: clean environments, stable housing, education, and meaningful social connections. Gurdjieff's system, or his systematic approach to studying human behavior during this period, established methodologies that modern psychology is only beginning to appreciate. He selected large numbers of individuals and maintained detailed observations over many years, documenting patterns invisible through casual study. This longitudinal approach revealed how individual psychological problems reflected larger civilizational patterns rather than personal failures. The 32nd teaching, the neurological reality of split consciousness. Chapter 32 provides Gurdjieff's comprehensive analysis of hypnotism, revealing that humans are the only beings in the universe capable of being hypnotized. This phenomenon emerged after the destruction of Atlantis, when human consciousness became divided into 2 separate systems, ordinary consciousness and subconsciousness, with nothing in common between them. Modern neuroscience is validating this understanding through research on split-brain patients and dual-process theories of consciousness. When the corpus callosum collecting brain hemispheres is severed, patients often develop what researchers call dual consciousness, though this remains controversial because it challenges materialist assumptions about the brain-mind relationship. Studies show that split brain patients can function normally in most situations, suggesting consciousness operates as a unified field even when the brain is mechanically divided. This supports Gurdjieff's insight that consciousness is more fundamental than neural architecture. The brain processes information, but consciousness itself operates according to different principles. Research on hypnosis reveals exactly the mechanisms. Gurdjieff described neuroimaging showed that hypnosis involved altering blood circulation patterns so the subconscious process become accessible while maintaining waking state body functions. The anterior cingulate cortex, which mediates between conscious and unconscious processes, shows increased activity during hypnotic states. The therapeutic applications are profound. Clinical hypnosis now has documented efficacy for treating chronic pain, PTSD, irritable bowel syndrome, and various psychological conditions. A 2024 meta-analysis of 49 studies comprising 261 randomized controlled trials confirms that more than half of hypnotic interventions produce at least minimum effective size across multiple conditions. But Gurdjieff's insight goes deeper than therapeutic techniques. He understood that human susceptibility to hypnosis reveals the fundamental split in consciousness that underlies all human psychological problems. We live simultaneously in two different realities with no connection or communication between them. Our conscious mind thinks one thing while our unconscious mind operates according to completely different principles. This explains contemporary phenomena like social media manipulation, political propaganda, and consumer psychology. Advertisers and politicians exploit the same hypnotic susceptibility that Gurdjieff observed, bypassing conscious reasoning to implant suggestions directly into unconscious processes. The techniques work because they operate through the split consciousness that operates in modern humans. Modern research on dual process theory describes exactly this phenomenon. System 1 thinking operates automatically and unconsciously, while System 2 thinking requires conscious effort and attention. Most human behavior is driven by System 1 processes that remain invisible to System 2 processes or awareness. This creates the illusion of conscious choice, while actual decisions are made by unconscious mechanisms. The third-party teaching, or the 33rd teaching, Therapeutic Potential of Conscious Integration. Chapter 33 describes Beelzebub's practical work as a physician hypnotist, developing innovative techniques that worked with, rather than against, human psychological structure. His breakthrough was discovering how to produce hypnotic states without requiring intense concentration, making therapy accessible to anyone regardless of their ability to focus attention. His method involved temporarily altering blood circulation to specific brain regions, creating simultaneous access to both conscious and unconscious processes. This integration provided the therapeutic opportunity, allowing patients to heal psychological and physical ailments through unified rather than split functioning. Modern neuroscience confirms that therapeutic breakthroughs occur when conscious and unconscious processes can communicate effectively. Neuroplasticity research shows that sustainable behavioral change requires integration between prefrontal cortex, executive functions, and limbic systems, emotional processes. When these systems operate in isolation, change efforts fail because conscious intentions cannot influence unconscious patterns. Research that was done recently on functional neurological disorders demonstrates how hypnotic techniques can restore normal brain functions by addressing the disconnection between different neural networks. The key insight is that many psychological and physical symptoms result from communication breakdowns within the nervous system rather than structural damage. Beelzebub's success as a therapist stemmed from two crucial factors: genuine love for his patients and scientific understanding of the mechanisms involved. This combination allowed him to help people integrate their split consciousness rather than simply managing symptoms or providing temporary relief. Contemporary research validates this approach. Studies show that therapeutic outcomes depend heavily on the quality of therapeutic relationship and the practitioner's genuine care for patient welfare. Techniques without authentic compassion often fail because they cannot access the deeper healing capacity that requires trust and emotional safety. But Gurdjieff's analysis also reveals how therapeutic techniques become corrupted when practitioners lack genuine understanding or proper motivation. Modern hypnosis has often become entertainment or manipulation rather than healing, creating additional confusion in people who are already psychologically divided. The integration, understanding our psychological crisis. These three chapters provide a comprehensive framework for understanding the psychological crisis facing contemporary humanity. We live shorter lives with less time for genuine development. Our consciousness is fundamentally split, making us vulnerable to external manipulation while preventing internal integration. Yet this same split consciousness, properly understood and skillfully addressed, offers the key to psychological healing and authentic development. The declining lifespan that Gurdjieff observed continues accelerating despite mechanical advances. Life expectancy improvements are slowing globally, with some populations experiencing actual decreases. This reflects not just physical degeneration, but the progressive loss of psychological capacity necessary for genuine human development. The split consciousness that makes us susceptible to hypnosis also makes us vulnerable to social media algorithms, political propaganda, and consumer manipulation. We live in two different realities simultaneously: the conscious world where we think we're making rational decisions, and the unconscious world where automatic patterns actually drive behavior. But understanding these mechanisms provides hope. Just as Beelzebub used hypnotic techniques therapeutically, we can learn to work with, rather than against, our psychological structure. The same vulnerability that makes us susceptible to harm or harmful influence can become the pathway to healing when approached with proper understanding and genuine care. Modern therapeutic applications of hypnosis demonstrate remarkable success rates for conditions that traditional medicine struggles to address. This suggests that many contemporary health problems stem from consciousness split rather than purely physical causes. The key insight is that authentic healing requires integration rather than suppression of psychological processes. Instead of trying to strengthen conscious control over unconscious patterns, effective therapy helps these systems communicate and collaborate. This produces lasting change because it addresses underlying structure rather than just surface symptoms. For individuals, this means recognizing when you're operating from split consciousness versus integrated awareness. Notice when your conscious intentions conflict with unconscious behaviors. Develop practices that promote communication between different aspects of your psychology rather than trying to force change through willpower alone. For society, this understanding reveals why so many contemporary problems resist solution despite sophisticated analysis and enormous resources. Political polarization, environmental destruction, and social inequality and cultural conflicts all reflect the same split consciousness operating on collective scales. Solutions require approaches that address psychological integration rather than external manipulation. The therapeutic potential Beelzebub demonstrated remains available to us, but it requires practitioners who can combine genuine scientific understanding with authentic compassion for human suffering. This isn't just technical skill, but it's the development of being qualities that make healing possible. The declining human lifespan that troubled Beelzebub continues accelerating, but understanding the consciousness factors that involved suggest interventions beyond purely medical approaches. Extending health span rather than just lifespan requires addressing the psychological split that prevents authentic development. Most importantly, these chapters reveal that what makes humans unique in the universe, our susceptibility to influence and suggestion, isn't a flaw to be overcome, but a capacity to be understood and skillfully employed. Properly approached, our physical vulnerability becomes the doorway to transformation that other cosmic beings don't possess. The question isn't whether you can heal split consciousness that characterizes modern humanity. The question is whether you're willing to approach this work with the scientific precision and authentic compassion that genuine healing requires. The tools exist, the understanding is available, but the application demands qualities that most people prefer to develop tomorrow rather than today. Your individual healing contributes to collective healing because consciousness operates as interconnected fields rather than isolated individual phenomena. But like all principles, Gurdjieff reveals, this requires sustained conscious efforts rather than comfortable theories about how things should work. I'm Mark Roach, wishing you all the best.